the sun is shining, there's a bit of a breeze. It's a perfect day for speech frisbee.
We have two European standouts here.
We are moments away from the opening pull now.
Deep breaths before the madness begins.
Greatest attempt! Oh my goodness, Leo to keep it alive! My brains are melting out of my ears! What is going on out there?
Women's Division champions!
Gold medal winners here on the beach!
European Beach Ultimate Club champions.
Thank you and enjoy the show.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the glorious sands of Gdańsk here in Poland. EBUCC, the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships 2025 Open Division quarter-final action. A game that I think has all sorts of potential. We have in the blue KFK, the Copenhagen Frisbee Club of Denmark. They are taking on the home nation favourites, Solaris of Poland. I'm Benjamin Rees, joined for the meantime at least by Gigi Morrison. And Gigi, I think this is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, it certainly should be. This game was selected, let's just say, by some of the production leadership, because we knew that was going to be a spicy matchup. KFK, we've already seen, well, we've seen both of these teams on the streams actually already. Solaris and KFK very early on in the tournament yesterday. Some super spicy games. You should definitely go watch those back on ulti.TV. Yeah,
it's a salivating slate of quarterfinals. On the top half of the bracket, we have Solaris KFK. The winner of this plays the winner of WAF versus Crisis Club. On the bottom side, Würzburg against Bratislava. The winner of that game plays Bristol Open against Sharks. Solaris in the sand-coloured jerseys, very appropriately, beginning the game on offense, and they clear out plenty of space underneath on this near sideline for Kozmowski, who gets the dish off, and then they're going short to Podgaini. Into the centre, Stupkiewicz. They're so isolated, it gives them so much space to work with, each player ensuring that that spacing is a-okay. Offhand, backhand, caught under tight pressure there by Podgaini. Gets low around the mark, collects the dish off, and just playing between themselves in the backfield at the moment. Stupkiewicz, back to Podgaini. Thinking about some throw and go action, not quite there. Slashing instead from this near side is Michal Rudy. Low, sent out into space, trying to finish to Kozmowski. Oh, they know. Decided against it, probably wisely. Fakes for the backhand. There's no one in that side. They'll go with the offhand, and then the simple dish. I love the way they structured that offense there, Solaris. It was clean, it was crisp, it was precise, and it was a clean hole to start.
And it was confident as well. They were, yeah, as you said, clean, concise. They just knew exactly what they wanted, when they wanted it, and where they wanted it. Didn't really take on any sort of risky or spicy options, just knowing that if you're going to take your time, be patient, then you can weave it through. And the KFK defense was still smothering and suffocating. It wasn't just a nice, easy slice through. It wasn't just like boom, 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 done. Solaris still had to work pretty hard against this KFK defense.
Well, that's one of the things that Solaris, I think, are happy to do, because they have an enormous roster here. I think they've got over double the number of people KFK have, who've got a relative skeleton crew of just 10. So Kozmowski, you don't, Kozmowski, who was the goal scorer, and the rest of Solaris, they don't mind, you know, having to work hard for those points, because if you can tire out your opposition, that's going to be a huge benefit, because you can continue to rotate fresh legs through. KFK don't necessarily have that luxury. That one underneath, just past the bidding, Frischchin. Borison. Going to Bastian Graham. There's his brother Tobias. Silleborg. Bastian Graham in the centre once more. Back to Tobias Graham, looking for the throw and go. The upline option was there, but he put too much on it, and the layout was in vain. Opportunity for an early break here for Solaris. Low, but stays off the sand. Now they're airing it out deep, stretching the field there is Kaczmarek. Can he get it at the back of the end zone? Oh, not quite. I tried to scoop it with the trailing edge. If he had got it, it would have been closest to whether he landed in bounds. In the end, his effort was in vain.
Most people would have just seen that and thought, nah. I'm not going to bother. But Kaczmarek really wanted that. Almost beautifully blurry shot, but a phenomenal attempt. Really grinding through every piston to try and burst your way through just towards the back end line. Even if he had got there, it would have been close.
I mean, that's classic D-line offense, really. Your offense is going to be slow, methodical, and your D-line, well, shooter's got to shoot. And you don't mind turning it over because you back yourself to get it back. Burleson will bring it to the front of the end zone, where Dvorzecki is ready to set the mark, and he puts it deep immediately, looking for the big man, Bastian Graham, but he's brilliantly defended on that occasion. Good slap of hands to signal the job was well done for now, but only half complete because they've got to go and get the goal at the opposite end of it. Kaczmarek, having come up empty on the layout attempt, gets everything with the block. Jinking and jiving in the lane. Once more they're going for the shot. This one's going to hang and going to float. Who can read it? Where did Tobias Graham come from? All the way from the backside, hustled and swipes over the top. Tobias Graham having got the block back for KFK. Bastian Graham dishes off. Now trying to find someone in the underneath space. Swarming defense once more from Solaris. Dvorzecki this time. Again, that D-line wants to keep shooting it. Finally, it pays off at the third time of asking. Jakub Kaczmarek with the score, and that is a 2-0 lead for Solaris. Delighted to say, by the way, that Gigi Morrison has departed to get some well-earned rest, and I'm joined by Jamie Rabbits. Sorry, Gigi, but you've worked hard, and I feel like in this weather, you deserve to be rehydrated properly. Jamie, pleasure to have you on board.
Thanks very much for having me again, Benji. Looking forward to it, the open quarterfinal. Already 2-0, so give me the lowdown, what's been going on.
Solaris, nice clean methodical hold for them to start, and then on the D-line there, they generated 3 turns, and yeah, classic D-line, they shot it quite a lot, didn't always pay off, but they've been able to consistently generate the pressure to get the disc back and get themselves in the lead. You've just come off from a hard-fought game in the mixed division with Deep Dish. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you very much, yeah. A tiny bit out of breath, sorry if the viewers can tell, but yeah, managed to win the pre-quarter into the top 8, but back into the action now with KFK, but turning straight away. Yeah,
overthrown. Kudlinski is right there to pick it off. Gibke now towards the end zone, a simple pop to Benedict Descoeur. I mean, we thought this might be close. On paper, I still think it's an even matchup, but at the moment, Solaris are really utilising the fact that they've got that much larger, deeper roster, and they're running KFK into the ground.
Yeah, I'm just looking at these roster sizes, and that is over double the size of the roster. And I mean, I wouldn't want to be playing this with any less than sort of 13 personally. And is that 9 I'm counting? That is crazy from KFK.
Solaris are, I think, the nearly men of this event. Multiple 4th places. They got 4th at EBUCC in 2019 as well. And yeah, I think you can tell that they are making a full-on tilt at this. You know, you're on relatively home sand here in Poland, so you can afford to get a big roster out here, show your strength, and so far they have justified the #1 seed, undefeated at this stage in the tournament.
Yeah, really impressive stuff from the Polish side. And, you know, making full use of that roster, it is so tough to run in this sand. And to be able to just have 4 fresh lines of legs out there is really valuable. And they chase down this pull and they have KFK in their own end zone.
Yeah, certainly a perilous position. Tobias Graham on a high stall, just had to try and get something out, but the coverage was too stifling. Can pick it up right on the end zone line here. Descoeur is just going to take his time. They've got an isolation in the center. Going one-on-one against Graham, and he just burns to the open side. Nothing he could do. I mean, that is as simple and as easy as you like. When you draw it up, that's what you dream of. 4-0 for Solaris and KFK, I think calling the most understandable timeout I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, that might even be an understatement, Benji. I mean, if nothing else, just to try and get a bit of energy, and that's a great little block there we see on the replay, and exactly as you said, nothing that the defense can do about this little isolation, and celebrating with joy as they should. Solaris take it into the timeout.
Yeah, Kudlinski with the score on that one. So 4-0 now, Solaris rocking and rolling. Let's take a little bit of a breather while KFK do the same. Can they fire up a comeback? We'll see when we return at EBUCC.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ulti.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Back and ready to rock and roll once more at EBUCC 2024, live and free on ulti.TV. And if it's something that you are enjoying, all our games free to view live and in perpetuity here, then make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notified, all that good stuff. And if you want a little bit extra, you can become a YouTube channel member at various different levels, but if you make sure you sign up for more live stream Ultimate, then you get a full 3 fields at the London Invite next weekend with 24 teams across the 3 divisions, including 5 World Games teams and the Tokai Super Team in attendance. It promises to be quite a show, which is exactly what Solaris are putting on now.
Yeah, crazy block there on the underneath by Foshevsky, and they just swing and put another one on the board just like that.
This is ominous, I think, if you're another team in the open division. Jakub Kaczmarek with his second goal of the game. Kacper Frischin on the assist. Just tight pressure underneath, and I think KFK, they're not generating huge amounts of separation, so they're having to throw into tight windows. Solaris know that, and you know, they're full credit to them. They're willing to bid, and they're not doing it in a dangerous way. They're just right on the shoulder the whole time, generating that fear almost in the mind. And KFK, yeah, they're an experienced outfit, but in their position, I have no idea what you do.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those multiple things that comes from having so many more players, is you can just throw your body around with no remorse, and you know that you're going to get at least 3 points of rest probably. And yeah, just able to shut down those unders straight away. KFK now, can they get the hold?
They stop the roll, but don't pick it up immediately, and that allows Solaris' defense to get set. That's a floater. Well boxed out there by Tobias Graham. And Graham into the backfield. Gets it off the dish. And he's shooting for his brother, Bastian Graham. This is going to be a hell of a fight in the end zone. He went up early, and Bastian Graham couldn't collect it as it died into the sand.
Yeah, interesting flight on that one. The wind is coming from the camera side away from us, and that one just managing to sail over both the receiver and the defender. But great effort from the defense to go up early, brought the offensive player with him, and yeah, Solaris with the disc in hand once again.
Job well done there by Bogdanov to tempt the early bid. The deep shot there might go. The lefty advantage down the sideline. The near sideline's already celebrating, and you tell why. That's the bookends for Bogdanov. 6-0 Solaris. Their first D-line, well, they required a few bites of the cherry to get it done. But since that point, that's now 5 breaks in a row, 6 goals in a row, and that's 4 opportunities in a row for this D-line where they've not surrendered the disc. This is brutal from Solaris.
Yep, Solaris have not turned over since I showed up, Benji. So
lucky charm.
I'm their lucky charm indeed. And they get to put out those fresh legs once again, and that is such a good performance from Bogdanov, going all the way from one end of the field to the other, and the throw there perfectly in stride. That lefty, as you say, can just throw that flick down the far sideline with all the touch in the world and just running that one in, and the sideline celebrating early, and so they should. What a goal that is for Solaris.
So fielded from the floor. And the first pass is to Trosdal. Again, another bit on the shoulder, but just a little bit shy. Gorda looking for an option up the line as he cannot see one. Cluttered in the centre, so he's going to air it out, trying to fade it towards that far side. And again, suck it into getting too far underneath it.
Yeah, just that misread again. And, you know, KFK, with a couple of opportunities, I know that's a high stall, but being able to fade that shot across to the break side, but just drawn in by the defense once again. Solaris from the front of their own end zone, but so far they've shown us they can start an offense from wherever they like and run some really nice plays. We'll see if they run some good systems or they get a good highlight, because they've done a bit of both so far.
Being on this O-line must be great, because you can play 1 point and then never be seen again. Going downfield, good physicality on the defense, jostling for position, and I kind of pull the Solaris trick there and sucker him into getting too far underneath it.
Yeah, I mean, on this beach, I think it's easy to get baited into thinking you can jump, when in reality it's a very tough skill. But KFK disc back in their hands at the halfway line now.
Nice early lead pass there goes to Gorda. Into the backfield, Goldire. Shooting for the end zone. Oh, that's way too high. Not quite sure what happened there. A miscommunication, a little bit of sand in the grip that forced the errant throw. But I think that's a little bit symptomatic of KFK in this first 15 minutes.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of chaos in that near side handler space, just causing the hesitation from the cutter and overthrown out the back. KFK have been getting the disc back at least, but they've got to put in one of these offenses, and there is the timeout call from Solaris.
Yeah, I'm not sure they necessarily needed to do this, because, I mean, they've been playing with so much energy and verve that they are well on top in this contest. But I think, you know, it shows the preparation and the mentality here. It's, you know, we take things seriously. We are not just going to, you know, assume that this game is already won. We want the utmost preparation in it. Would I have taken it? No, especially with the deep poach there. You had Dvorzhetsky, who was wide, completely open underneath. But even so, I understand why. So, 6-0 then, Solaris up on KFK. Open quarterfinal action here at EBUCC. Don't go away. You see there, glorious Gdańsk, the venue for EBUCC 2025. We're back in the open quarterfinal with a big advantage here. Solaris really putting it on to KFK. Two Solaris players in the same place, and it works out anyway. Broniecki. Oh, that was an awkward adjustment, but he made it quickly. Good reactions. Now takes the underneath option. Is he? No, he's going to air it out deep. And the layout, it looked like he wasn't even bothered there. Kacper Krasucki. More fool me and more fool for the defender, because he just kind of sidled up to it and then produced the layout at the end to put the finish on that first half with a 7-0 smackdown.
Yeah, unbelievable stuff out of Solaris. And yeah, you can see the wind there, just pushing the disc across, especially at that left side end zone. Just kills it at the end. It requires the layout to save it. But great stuff again from Solaris. And I mean, Yeah, KFK having to try and conserve some energy, poach into the spaces, but Solaris able to punish at every opportunity and put another one on the board to take half.
I mean, if you're KFK, I mean, it's the quarterfinals, so you have to go whole hog, but, you know, I think at this point, a game's never lost, but it's a hell of a mountain to climb.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen bigger comebacks. I don't think I've seen them on the beach. You can correct me. I'm sure you've watched many more games of Ultimate than I have.
If there is one, it doesn't immediately spring to mind. Borison. Oh, doesn't field the pool cleanly. That's the last thing they need. Deep in their own end zone. Thrown right into the defense. And duly punished Kudlinski with the simplest of pops for the score. It's that sort of game for KFK.
Yeah, so close to the Callahan there. Not quite able to get on that special column in the stats board, which I love the fact that the beach tournaments have a Callahan column.
It's so good.
But KFK misfielding the pull and just not able to get out. It looks like Solaris really have their number, just going so hard with this no under defense and taking away all of the options that KFK want.
Chitsky with the score in the end.
Yeah, just I don't know what to do if I'm KFK here. It's you need to see, right, does one player have some energy right now to try and just be that ISO player and get the disc just to get some sort of movement? And
credit to them because they've tried different things. It's not they've not failed the same way every time, if that makes sense. But I think at this point, yeah, just try and get a bit more confidence and energy back.
Yeah, it looks like the energy is coming. Working hard to get the disc. KFK with the disc in the middle now, and up goes the Huck.
Nice low grab there from Bricks, who's shooting deep for Bastian Graham. Again, didn't hate the look. There was a little bit of vertical and lateral separation there. If there was maybe a little bit of pace taken off, a bit more angle towards that break side, Bastian Graham was in a good position, but it was overthrown, and it is going to go back to Solaris once more.
Yeah, it's a nice little scoop there, and good presence of mind to put that throw out with touch, but just not quite enough. And Solaris from their own end zone, just grabbing the disc from the back. We'll walk it up to the front, and you see this horizontal set. See if they initiate from the near sideline.
And they clear it out deep from the center, and then plant to come underneath. Defender thinks about a poach, but it isn't there. Quickly out of the hands, back into the handling set. Gibke just tosses that higher release. They might shoot this one, no. Poznanski, I think, wisely holsters. Back to Gibke, who goes to Sand to make sure he secures. Again, kind of remonstrating that there's nothing going on downfield. Gets it off the give-go. Splits that temporary double team with the high release to get it off the line. Now they're on the far side with Bogdanov. Deskur not necessarily liking what he sees. This is a very disciplined, mature D-line possession. Again, they're not doing anything outrageous. A little bit of a tussle. That will rise. But there are a couple of Solaris players there. Gibke. I think he wants to take the break on. Doesn't have to in the end. Gets it on the far side with Filip Kudlinski. Another goal to his name. 9-0. I mean, this is a remarkable game. I'm glad we streamed it. I'm sure KFK won't be because they've put on a beach clinic here.
Yeah, unbelievable. You see Gibke there just faking all sorts of throws, managing to holster anything too spicy and just taking that open option as we see there. He fakes a lefty push pass at some point during that point, Benji. I'm not sure if you caught that one.
It was on. It was so on, though.
I agree. It's got to go at this point. Hopefully he'll get that one out of the toolbox later on. You see Kudlinski there with another goal.
I mean, you can see why he's got a nice broad smile on his face, can't you?
I mean, it's hard not to when you're up 9-0.
And this KFK side, they're a good side. Like, they've not necessarily shown it at anywhere near their capability in this contest, but we streamed their pool play matchup yesterday against Crisis Club, the Irish team, and that was an absolute slobber knocker. I love, however, it doesn't matter what you're doing, brave from Bastian Graham catching the ball so they can get going quicker, because we've seen what happens when they go slowly. They were camped in their own end zone, and now against the zone, wisely scoobering over the top.
Yeah, I mean, a zone against a Danish team is an interesting one, but have to see. They maybe just getting some practice in our Solaris of the zone, just a different defense to throw if they need it, just trying to put some pressure on. But so far, KFK managing to scythe through it, floating that one into the end zone. It's got to be a contest, and the block comes through.
That's a hell of a battle and superbly palmed away with a strong hand there by, I think, Bogdanov. Yeah, I liked the idea that they came out with zone because while this game isn't necessarily close, you could have kept doing the same thing. You know, you want to fine-tune it for going into the bracket. KFK looked pretty adept at dealing with it until that final floaty pass, and it was denied in emphatic fashion.
Yeah, such a nice scuba to open it up at the start, but not quite able to carry their momentum. And in the end, floating that one a little bit high into the wind, and the block comes through from Solaris. Will they manage to have another clean offense?
Smart break around there to Bogdanov. On this near side, there's a player poached. It's Kaczmarek who got the D there and has the disc in his hands before releasing. I think he wants it back, but he doesn't see it. Tossed into the center. I love that they immediately bounce it back to the handler. Puts it deep, and again, the sideline knew that the goal was good. Mateusz Kozmowski is loving life. I think he scored on the first point of the game, and he hasn't had to take the field yet.
What a hero. I mean, he's carrying the energy, bringing the good vibes to Solaris. But I mean, as I say, hard not to bring the vibes when you're up by this much. But such smooth offense, doing the exact right things there.
I mean, that's what Solaris have done so well in this game, is when they get those nice yardage gainers underneath, they don't stand, turn, be static for a while. The handler throws and goes, follows it up, and immediately they can then collect the dish off. They're looking downfield and seeing cuts develop already, and it means that they can just keep playing at that pace.
And Solaris still, I mean, not sending that O-line out there at any point, happy to just give them basically a whole game's worth of rest. At this point, it could be 12 points of rest. But we'll go for the defense once again. Will we see some more of that zone or back to match?
I think if you're serious about closing out the bagel here, then I think maybe you do go back to match, because KFK looked like they weren't massively flustered by the zone defense up until, of course, that final pass.
So the ball is trying to roll towards the sideline, so it does look perhaps a bit of a miscomm on the matchups to start with, but causing some chaos, and KFK shoot again.
Yeah, this one is tightly covered, and it's over the head of Bricks.
Yeah, just fading to that break side every time. I mean,
and
they just here.
And you see the energy battle. They're jogging up to the line, and KFK looks shattered. Here's the deep shot going. It's going to require a bit of a chase for Zions, but not a problem for the man who's now plying his trade on the grass with Wall City. He makes it 11-0.
Exactly as you say on the energy front, just running that one straight in as we see here. 1, 2, got the options, holsters once, but sees that the cutter is wide open and just has the energy. And I mean, that's a great chase down there still in the end from KFK to never give up, but 11-0 is the score currently.
Yeah, looking at the quarter-final slate as a whole, the winner of this plays the victor of WAF and Crisis Club, and the Irish side are up 6-4 in that one. On the other half of the bracket, Würzburg have a 6-4 lead on Bratislava, while Sharks have raced into a 9-4 advantage over Bristol. So as it stands, it'll be Solaris Crisis Club on one side and Würzburg Sharks on the other. I think that's a very tasty slate of semi-finals.
Yeah, a lot of exciting stuff coming up, Benji, later on today. We've got games going on all day, and we're getting into the meet now. It's going to be getting towards more semi-finals later in the day, some more quarterfinals in other divisions to come. Lots of exciting Ultimate happening here on the beach in Gdańsk.
Yeah, you don't half get value for money at EBUCC, especially because you can watch it all for free on ulti.TV. You lucky, lucky people. That time, raking inside shot. That's a superb reception there from Silborg. Can they capitalise for their first point of the game? The break goes, and KFK, to the delight of the fans on the far side, are finally belatedly on the board. And honestly, that'll feel so huge for them, because it's not been their game, but getting that support from the sideline, you just feel so much better about yourself.
Yeah, and a great break to kick things off. Incredible grab, and then again, just little flip. Give it to the guy who's not made the big layout grab, who can see what's been going on and just developing that continuation cut so well. Great timing there, and KFK claiming the goal, and the layout just to secure it. No question about keeping that disc in his hands for the goal, getting KFK on the board.
Young does exactly the right thing, because imagine if you don't lay it and you turn, you'd feel, honestly, like the world was trying to swallow you whole.
Well, that is the one, and we get to see a bit of KFK defense. Will they have anything exciting for us? It looks like a very nice deep pull to start with, right on the back line. No,
just too deep. See, it's all this gym work people do, Jamie.
Yeah, who needs that?
The best way to get better at playing Ultimate is just to keep playing Ultimate IMO.
I'm 100% on your team there, Benji.
No one ever gets injured doing that.
Yeah. I'm a pure example of never getting injured.
So KFK, and they're not zoning, but they're taking a very tasteful buffer against the matchups. Dishing down the near sideline, Zatoń. Tossed back into the middle. Trying to find the option around, doesn't see it. Rudy, putting it out into space. What a layout to grab that one. Zion's had no right to it. And now he goes back. Rudy wants the little slice through, collects, and then dishes to Zatoń for the 12-1 lead, and Solaris already 1 away from victory. We've not even had half an hour played.
Yeah, and that is 2 examples of 2 different poachers that Solaris absolutely cut through. Off that initial set, KFK tried to put a bit of a triangle around the cutters, and they dragged the brake slay cutter out of the way and filled that gap, just got them initiated along this near side. And then towards the end, you see going for the give goes exactly there. KFK tried to switch on that upline cut, but that plant and come back inside, hit that nice little inside flick, and the pop for the goal. Just some textbook stuff out of Solaris.
You see more and more teams rolling that buzz switch on the up the line, where the player who would be on the force peels off and then the other player comes to fill in, and that is the way to punish it. You recognize it, stop early, and challenge the thrower to hit the inside window, as they did there. Bastian Graham to Young, the goal scorer. Tossing it back to Gorda, and now Tobias Graham, airing it out down the sideline, looking for his brother, who's got a big body down there, and that is bang on the money from one brother to another. Tobias to Bastian for the score.
Yeah, you love to see that from KFK, just finding a little bit of the groove. I think Solaris throughout this game have done a really good job at taking away those unders from KFK, really applying pressure near the disc, and KFK now just managing to open it up a little bit. And I mean, that has to be a great shot, and it's really well executed, just keeping it straight along this sideline. Same third huck, but leading it into the space, perfectly weighted. That's the sort of thing that we see from KFK.
I mean, there's a reason why KFK have been a top program for so many years. You know, top 16 finisher at WUCC in Cincinnati in 2022, and that, you know, speaks to their pedigree.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's always a strong ultimate scene out of Denmark. KFK sort of rising up to fill perhaps a little bit of a gap left by Ragnarok a few years before them. Obviously, both teams have existed that whole time, and KFK have really picked up and stepped up into that role as the team to beat out of Denmark. But at the moment, Solaris showing us how to take it to KFK as they scythe down the pitch once more.
Yeah, it was a strong, deep pull from KFK, but already Solaris at midfield without necessarily breaking too much of a sweat. Kosmowski with an exaggerated fake before going central. Rudy wants the break and has it. Stupkiewicz, central, trying to lay it on a line for Kosmowski at the front of the end zone. That is game. And Solaris, I mean, what a performance. 13-2. If you're in this open division, look out.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, just over and over a masterclass from Solaris. I think you know, they had, what, 3 turns that entire game?
It's ludicrous. It's genuinely ludicrous. I cannot remember a performance like it. And yes, you know, they've got that enormous numerical advantage, as you'll have no doubt noticed throughout the game. But it's one thing to have it. It's another thing to know how to properly utilize it. And that's exactly what they did. They ran their opponents into the ground, as Tobias Graham with an elite Finny there.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this Spirit Circle, honestly, Benji, just to see the swarm of Solaris players around these KFK players. But a strong finish there. Kozmalski with the finisher. I think he played 2 points.
Yeah,
and
the
scored
first
2
point and the
goals.
last point. That's a job very well done. Big round of applause from Solaris to their supporters in the stands as well. I think I recognise some Grandmaster Flash jerseys out there. A strong Polish contingent here in I'll put my teeth back in. Gdańsk. It's been a long weekend. I mean, there you go. There's the story of the game. 3 turns. 10 for 13 on break chances is ludicrous. I cannot remember a performance like it.
Yeah, such impressive stuff out of Solaris. I can't wait to watch them in their next game later on in the tournament, and I would be very surprised if they're not in the final, Benji.
Yeah, they will play the winner of WAF versus Crisis Club. Crisis Club currently with a 7-4 lead. On the other side of the bracket, Würzburg lead Bratislava now 8-5, while Sharks have a 10-5 lead on Bristol. Jamie, thanks very much for joining me for what proved to be quite an abridged affair because of the Solaris dominance.
No, thanks very much for having me, Benji. It means I can go and get my lunch a bit sooner.
Happy days. Up next, believe me, you're not going to want to miss this. We have women's semi-final action. Jinx Midnight versus Sharks. Gigi Morrison and Stefan Rapazzo will be in the booth for that one, and I must say I am very jealous of them because that is going to be a banger. And the best seat in the house, if it's not here on the commentary desk, it's right at home, courtesy of ulti.TV. And thanks to all our wonderful ulti.TV crew and Jamie Rabbits alongside me. Final score then in this open quarter-final. Solaris 13, KFK 2, and we'll see you on the other side.
Thank you.
Thanks.
ulti.TV